I am a noob. I've been playing Runescape on and off for years, but I've never achieved anything significant in game because I can't stop myself from procrastinating, and I've never even given old school Runescape a real try outside the first Trailblazer League 3 years ago. I've come to realise that what I want is just a list of tasks without the pressure of thinking of the next thing or any big goals. So let's make this more interesting. This Excel doc will randomly select from more than 1,000 tasks. These can be as simple as killing a goblin, or as demanding as obtaining a twisted bow. But there's a catch. I don't want to slip back into procrastination mode, so to make sure that doesn't happen, any task I'm given will be limited by the difficulty I've selected and the regions I have access to. This means that I won't be stuck with the task of getting a skill cape fresh off Tutorial Island, but I may still have to quest, gain levels, make money, and explore content new to me just to complete a task that may or may not be worth the effort. As they become more difficult, each task will become more of a problem to be solved, consisting of multiple aspects and decisions that will impact how the account progresses. This is all but guaranteed to force me into a constantly changing playstyle, which I hope will keep things fresh and enjoyable. This is Protaskination, where there are no end goals, and we don't know what's coming next. Alright, I've got my new account with a terrible name. Couldn't get any of my first options, so let's just move on to the rules of the account. Rule number 1. I have to roll a task using the Excel tracker. Rule number 2. Everything I do has to be in service of that task. Rule number 3 is don't take the piss. If my task is to get a fire cape, I don't need max combat stats. I shouldn't be leveling any more than I have to for each task. Rule number 4 is once a task streak hits a multiple of 10, I can select a task manually. This allows me to steer the account in a specific direction or unlock certain quests, regions or items without having to wait for the right task to come along. Rule number 5, and this is more of a question really, should there be a punishment for skipping a task? Leave a comment if you have any suggestions. That's it, those are all the rules. This account isn't restricted to anything other than the current task at hand, so hopefully I'll be able to explore all that the game has to offer. Out into the real world, and it's time to roll our very first task on this account. Over in the Excel task list, the way this works is that when I click Get New Task, it'll ask me if I've completed the last one, and if I have, it adds to our task streak. So if I go ahead and get our very first task. Oh, catch a Karambwanji. It's definitely random. As you'd expect, the first task on this account is very easy. All I have to do is get my fishing to level 5, make my way to Karamja, and grab myself at least one Karambwanji. I shouldn't have any issues with this. I'll just need to watch out for Broodoo victims and hobgoblins that walk around the south side of the lake. Here's the first level coming in on the account with 2 fishing. Look at all those poor shrimp just dropped on the floor. It's so sad. I forgot how slow early game fishing is, but gives me plenty of time to admire the HD water textures. Oh, finally, level 5 fishing. That was so boring, get me out of here. I've ended up with 38 shrimp banked, and members can now catch Karambwanji. Now I've just realised I can use the minigame teleport for the fight pits. I'm going to do that and head on over to Karamja. Oh shit. Oh no. Oh my god, I'm on 4 HP. Oh my god, I almost lost hardcore status on the first half an hour. Man. I'm gonna go in here because this guy, one of these guys, not him, this guy sells food, doesn't he? Can I get some food? Herring, cod. Can't afford much. I've just had a look to see on the wiki which one heals for more. It looks like it's cod. So, I've just spent half of my cash stack on a fish. This isn't how I wanted the first task to start, but there you go. I'm going to go really wide around Taibo Wanai. Don't want to run into any Broodoo victims. I need to be careful up here. See, there's a hobgoblin. Need to be careful. Don't want to get attacked by one of those. Oh, we got it. We got it. That's it. First task on the account complete. Oh, that didn't go too bad. Back into the tracker, and the first thing I've done is just update my newly acquired fishing levels in the table on the right. The way this table works is I keep track of my current levels in game, and then when I roll a new task it'll tell me how many levels I need to gain. Catch a Karambwandi is complete. First task down. Okay, mine 100 ore. So a bit of context for this task. I actually added a lot of tasks like this to the list. The idea being that the more of these that come up, just gradually the account will accumulate levels, accumulate resources and all that kind of stuff without having to go out of my way to get them. Oh my god, that rock did not want to be mined. What the 5 mining coming in, 6 mining, and task complete. I mined 50 of each copper and tin, so it's a good amount if we ever need to do a bit of smithing. Before I roll for the third task, I just want to talk about this region list in the Excel tracker. This list is what prevents me from rolling a task in a region that I don't currently have access to. You know, I wouldn't want to roll say a medium task in Taranwin because the requirements to get there are probably higher than medium. I've marked Fremennik as not having access because a lot of the tasks require going to Yeti Zone, other places, or doing things that I can only access after doing the Fremennik quest series, so this is one that I will either work to later or once the account is in a better position, maybe I'll just open that one up. I've also put Zeah down as no access, and this is a mistake. For some reason I thought I had to do Client of Korend before I could actually go to Zeah. I realised fairly early on that's not the case, so you'll see me correct that later. I've updated my new mining level into the tracker, and time to move on to task number 3. Oh, nice. Okay, I get to pick my own quest. I need to think about this. When it comes to picking a quest to do on this account, I think there's 2 main things to consider: the XP reward and the unlocks. Early game quest XP can be really beneficial to the account, but there's also so many things that I need to unlock on this account. I've thought about it and I've decided to go with the Daddy's Home mini quest. Not only does this get me my first few construction levels, it also gets me a free house, which essentially is unlocking the construction skill. To complete this mini quest I need some supplies, which means I need about 3k GP. That's why I've come along to everyone's favourite stronghold of security. After going into Old Man Yarlow's house and absolutely savaging all of his worldly possessions, he began to lecture me about home ownership, which, considering the current housing market, was an unwelcome reminder of the uncertainty of my financial future. So thanks for that, you old bastard. With that done, I went back to Marlowe, who gave us some construction XP, getting us to level 8, as well as some useful construction supplies and teletabs, which we'll save for later. Back into the tracker for task number 4. What have we got? Great, more fishing. Not much to say about this task, honestly. I need to get level 10 fishing, I need to get a rod, I need to get some bait. So let's do it. Look at this guy taunting me. He doesn't even want the fish. Here's all the fishing supplies I'm gonna need. Just hit level 10 fishing, and here is the raw herring. Lovely. I know it's still very early in the account, but I'm looking forward to getting into some of the longer tasks, the ones that need planning and thought behind them, and, you know, not just catching a fish. Okay then, next task. Task number 6. Okay, another quest. Alright, I need to think about it. So at this point, it would be good to do Waterfall quest to get a head start on my melee stats. The problem is that the Moss Guardian can max it at 14, and I would actually like to make it through the first episode without losing hardcore status. So I've decided to go with a safe one and do Imp Catcher for the early magic XP. First kill and first bead, very nice. Here's a level 5 attack coming in, can I switch to the Steel Scimitar? Oh, look at that. First bit of fashionscape on the account. Oh, I look like a beast. Bead number 2, bead number 3, bead number 4, and quest complete. And the Amulet of Accuracy, that's actually going to be quite handy for us, so that's good. Moving on to task number 7, and we get... okay, craft 100 runes. Alright. So before I can actually do this task, I have to complete a quest that gives me access to rune crafting. So let's go and nicely ask Duke Horatio if he has a quest for us. Despite kicking his door in, we did actually get a quest from Duke Horatio, and it looked something like this. Walk over to the Wizard's Tower and speak to Cedridor, go all the way up to Varrock and speak to Aubrey, go back to the Wizard's Tower and speak to Cedridor, quest complete. Doesn't sound like much, but it takes a while when you don't have any teleports. Now that's done, I can grab the essence I need to craft 100 runes. Look at all this beautiful scenery. You can tell when they made this area that they didn't account for render distances being increased in the future. Another quick and easy one that required a lot of walking off camera. Even though I meant for longer trips, I decided to go up to the Mind Altar for the last 3 inventories to make sure I've got some runes for the future. Coming in for task number 8. Oh, I haven't done this before. Okay, let's head on over to Zeah. Oh, I hate walking in this game. I need to train some agility and I need some teleports. Zeah looks really good though. You can definitely tell it's like newer content. Coming up to the library now. Oh look, there's a plugin telling me what to do. That's handy. This plugin makes it so easy. You just search your bookcases, which are already highlighted for you, and once you've found one book, it maps out where all of the others are. Then you just have to go around, collect a bunch of books, and then you can just take them back to the guys on the bottom floor, give them the book that they ask for, and that's it. Just repeat that a bunch of times. Just handed in book number 10, and we are good to leave. What you're about to see is a function of the Excel doc that you'll probably never see me use again. Basically, it's a random skill picker. Now, when I first started the account, the idea was that any XP lamps or XP rewards would be randomized. So instead of picking a skill to put the XP on that would be beneficial, I would completely leave it up to the randomization of the skill picker. After playing the account for a bit longer, I've realised that this really doesn't add anything. It's just an annoyance. It doesn't make the account more fun, it doesn't make it more challenging, it's just a bit, it was a dumb idea, and that's it. So I'm not going to use this again. But for these 10 library books, I did use the skill picker to randomly pick whether they go onto mage or onto runecrafting. I ended up putting 4 books into runecrafting, which didn't get me any levels, and then 6 books into magic, which got me to level 11. Back again with a quest of my choice. Nice. I do still want to do Waterfall quest, but my HP is currently 13, which means I'm still at risk of getting one-banged by the Moss Guardian. Whoosh! Instead, I'll be going with the Restless Ghost, which means I need to talk to this guy, talk to that guy, talk to this ghost, grab this skull, taunt the skeleton, talk to the ghost again. Ghost yeets himself into the River Lum. Quest complete. Back in the tracker for task number 10. It's random. Okay, this is the first task that is big enough to warrant a plan, so let's figure this out. To build a bank on Fossil Island consists of 2 parts, building the bank and accessing Fossil Island. Focusing on the first part for now. To build the bank, I need 21 construction. Fortunately, I've got a head start from the Daddy's Home mini quest, but I'll still need around 100 planks to finish off the leveling. I can get these just outside Barbarian Assault, where there's 4 plank spawns. This will save me from having to make about 10k GP to make the planks myself. Part 1 is a bit longer. To gain access to Fossil Island, I'll need to complete the Bon Voyage quest. Before I can do this, however, I need 100 kudos, which means doing a handful of quests plus a Natural History Museum quiz. I also need to complete the Dig Site quest, which requires 10 agility, 25 thieving, and 10 herblore. To get 10 herblore, I'll need to complete the Druidic Ritual quest. I'll then need to gather around 30 guam leaves or marantal and make those into potions. I've specifically avoided doing the jungle potion for the herblore XP because I don't think I could survive getting past the Joggers or bug swarms, and I'm so close to finishing this episode with my hardcore status in hand. With that said, I think I've got everything I need to move forward and get working on this bank. First up is Druidic Ritual. It's a nice quick, easy quest and unlocks herblore for us. Took a while, but here's the bear meat, the rat meat, the chicken meat, and the cow meat. Just handing in Druidic Ritual for level 3 herblore. I think I found my people, like long lost brothers. Kill number 1, and I've already got my first guam leaf. I've decided to get these from killing men and women just outside Lumbridge Castle. Just looking at drop sources, it seems like these will be the easiest way for me to get them, and the rarity of guams is pretty good, it's 1 in 22. I completely forgot to get the Iron Man armor. Can't believe it took me this long to remind you all that I'm an Iron Man, by the way. I've just received my first clue scroll on this account, and I think this is a good time to go back and have a look at the rules. At the start of the episode, I stated that everything I do must be in service of the current task. But, as always, there will be exceptions. And I've put my exceptions into 2 loosely defined groups. The first group is distractions. These are things like clue scrolls, which don't help my current task, but I want to do them. Later on, I may include things like fallen stars, but we'll see. The second group is what I like to call maintenance tasks. These are things like farm runs, birdhouse runs, basically anything you could consider a daily task. I won't rush to get these started, but I will allow them once I've got the resources. Clue step number 1, very convenient. Step number 2, the very first casket on this account, let's see what it is. Oh, that fucking sucks. 100 or so kills later, got some new drip on my way to casket number 2. Let's see what it is. I'm skipping over a lot of what's going on in the video, because it's not that interesting to see me slaughter the civilians of Lumbridge. Steadily getting the herbs that I need for 10 herblore, but we're getting a good amount of clue scrolls doing this. And this is the first easy casket on the account. Oh, okay. So I didn't realise at the time, but getting the Master Scrollbook from an easy clue, it's actually 1 in 792. So I didn't realise how rare it was. I think I was just disappointed because it's kind of useless at the moment, but this will be great, like late game. Spending all of my cash on a weapon upgrade, looking dangerous. I had to come all the way over here for clue scroll number 7, so I thought I'd just quickly grab 10 agility. And here we are with easy casket number 2. Ooh, bob shirt. Ah, nice. Fashion scope. Found a couple of broken bots over here. My money's on the seagull. Somebody get Sir Pugger. Took a bit longer than expected, but here is 10 herbal. The first of, I think, about 7 requirements to build a bank chest on some random island somewhere. Moving on to the next level requirement for dig site quest, which is 25 thieving. I'm starting this with the Hazil cult quest, which gets us to level 11. And I've just finished it off with cakes, which is now our new best food. Now, the dig site is an incredibly boring quest, so instead of showing you any of what I recorded, I'll just give you the quick summary. I randomly decided that I wanted to work on a dig site east of Varrock. It's actually surprisingly easy to become a certified level 3 Earth scientist. You only have to answer about 9 questions. After becoming an expert in my field in just a few short minutes, I discovered the Temple of the Empty Lord. It's honestly crazy how barely anything gets done in Gielinor until I show up, but that excursion got us to 32 mining and 17 herblore. I completed a few quests for the Kudos, including Priest in Peril, where I killed a weird looking dog, and then everybody got mad at me and Drezel shouted at me, and it was a bit traumatic. I went up to Barbarian Assault and grabbed about 100 planks so that I could start leveling construction. And that's the 21 construction requirement coming in. I need to get an iron bar to build the bank on Fossil Island, so I was killing dwarves by Falador to get the iron bar drop. But I've actually ended up getting a clue, so let's see if we get lucky. Ooh, nice. That'll be good for later. With that all out the way, a few minutes for you, but a few hours for me, I can finally start Bon Voyage. Am I the dumbest person in the world? I've been on this ship for 10 minutes. How does this work? Oh, and now it's sending me back. Great. And then second try works perfectly. Okay. Whatever. Quest complete. Oh, I can finally complete this task. This has easily been the longest one yet. It wasn't very difficult, it was just a bit long, and clue scrolls definitely made it take longer. The task streak is now at 10, which means I can pick something off of the list that I want to do. And I've been playing this account for about 17 hours at this point, and there's 2 things that are painfully obvious. The first is that I have to walk everywhere in this game. Yes, there's the home teleport for Lumbridge or areas around it, and there's minigame teleports, but these things have very long cooldowns. The second is that my run energy and restoration is terrible. And this is even more obvious because I'm having to walk everywhere. So with these 2 being the main concerns on the account at the moment, it would make sense that I do something to either unlock teleports or something to improve my run energy. I've narrowed it down to 2 options off the list. Task 1 would be completing the Easy Ardy Diary. This gives me the Ardy Cape, which has unlimited teleports to the monastery, granting me easier access to the western side of the map. Option 2 is to obtain a piece of the Graceful set. This would be beneficial for 2 reasons. One is that the piece of Graceful will give me an improved run energy restoration rate, and just by getting enough marks of grace to obtain 1 piece of the Graceful outfit, my agility level will increase, which will put me into a different run energy restoration bracket, so the impact of getting a piece of Graceful is actually 2-fold. Having considered both options for a while, I've decided to go for the graceful piece, purely because it's something that will benefit me everywhere I go, whereas the Ardy teleport will only be useful if I need to go to that area of the map or somewhere nearby. So with that decision made, let's run some laps. Alright, that's enough of the montage. I've got 30 marks of grace and 38 agility. Let's just run over and get the first piece of the graceful outfit. I ended up doing 155 laps at Draenor and 41 at Varrock. I may have stayed at Draenor for a bit too long. I wasn't familiar with the mechanic for the marks of grace where the spawn rate significantly decreases when your level gets too high. And that's our first bonus task done. I've loosely kept track of how long each task has taken, as well as how many levels were gained in each. I thought it would be interesting to look back at the end of each episode to see what was achieved. It's definitely a random list. I've really enjoyed it though. I haven't spent much time thinking about how to perform each task efficiently. I'm just having fun with it, and that's how games should be. I spent a surprisingly long time on task number 10. I think about half of it was just getting 10 herblore. It took around 500 men and women KC to get the herbs I needed, and in that time I got 8 clue scrolls, which really slowed it down. But I don't care about efficiency, so it's all good. I'm ending this episode with the task streak at 10, plus a bonus task, and a total level of 308. This has been a lot of fun. If you've enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate a like, a comment, a subscription, whatever you fancy. For now, I'll sign off by rolling task number 11. Oh, you're fucking kidding me.